I mean, the original national security question of coordination of mission and tactics with Russia, and then obstructing the very probe looking at that question.
Well, there are those two pieces. I do think that one way to look at the obstruction might be simpler, which is simply the statements that were made by the Trump team to the National Archives saying that they returned everything. And they're repeating that statement through counsel to the Department of Justice when we know for a fact that that was at the very least inaccurate. And there's reporting that it was intentionally so, that the president deliberately withheld things. I think Frank is flagging an important issue that prosecutors deal with when you're deciding whether to prosecute. And there is actually a law that was created called SEPA, where you try and deal with this issue of not allowing a defendant in a case just like this to blackmail the government into a better resolution. I have to say, when I read this today, my big overarching takeaway is, and I know this is just a prediction and speculation, but I'd say it's an educated one, is that the former president is going to be prosecuted. I don't see how you cannot, given this information, not just that it's so clear that there is an active, thorough investigation and just how much was done here, but when you compare it to precedent, we compare it to General Petraeus, which happened when I was at the Bureau, and I think Frank may have been at the Bureau as well. What we are seeing is so much worse, both in terms of the volume, the length of time, and then the sort of repeated obstruction and false statements that were made. I don't see, if you're somebody like Merrick Garland, who is a former judge who thinks about precedent, about treating like defendants equally, I don't see how you avoid that conclusion in this case.
And I want to understand, I need to follow up. For all the conversations we've had with you, I don't know that I've heard you utter that sentence, Andrew Weissman. I want to bring Miles in, but I just want to follow up with you quickly, Andrew. How important is it that one of the windows that we have from this affidavit is that Donald Trump knowingly took these things, knowingly kept these things, and knowingly lied about what he had?
Extremely. For all of the people who say, why didn't the archives and the Department of Justice act faster? And by the way, when you piece together the timeline, and this affidavit does give you more information on that, the department actually looks like they acted quite quickly once they had the referral. And in spite of the fact that Donald Trump and his lawyers were trying to keep that referral away from the Bureau. That all is going to be really damning evidence of intentionality. Mm-hmm. Just imagine if somebody by accident took some documents, even a box. And again, the volume belies the idea that it would be, an accident. But here, that length of time and the fact that you only returned some of the documents, but not all of them. And then you made statements that you did return everything. And that's leaving aside that, as Frank said, they clearly have talked to a whole series of witnesses. A whole part of this affidavit is clearly refuting the Kash Patel statement that these documents were declassified while the former president was the president. It's really clear that the Department of Justice doesn't believe that for a minute. All of that goes to the discretionary decision that Merrick Garland is going to have to make. And as I said, I don't see how, if you are concerned about precedent, how you really can avoid the ultimate conclusion here that he needs to be charged.
Give your business an advantage right now with nationwide 5G from T-Mobile for Business.